Fuck no. They got me fucked up.
What's poppin', YouTube? If you ain't know, it's your boy Cuss by Matt. Got a big chop transformation again on some wavy curly hair. Got my client. Kind of looks like Ohgeesy a little bit. He wanted to start fresh. Took him down to a number 10 on top. And for the sides and back, I'm gonna be doing some mid-ball tapers, almost like a burst taper. I'm gonna be showing y'all different fading technique I use for wavy/straight hair. I do a lot of taper tutorials right now, but we're gonna get into the fades pretty soon. Just wanted to be versatile, show y'all what I can do with straight/wavy hair. I appreciate everybody subscribing and liking the videos. This is just the beginning of the journey. Got a lot of different type of videos on the way, more tutorials, vlogs, Q&As. But yeah, man, appreciate it. More on the way. By the way, this video is pretty old when I recorded it. I didn't have my camera at the time, using my iPhone. Hopefully the quality is still good for y'all. My client's hair was used to being very curly and a lot of natural oils was in the hair, so I'm just washing the head to kind of just clean out all the oils and make sure his hair stays flat. To start the cut, I'm gonna knock off all the weight on the sides and back with a number 3 for a clearer canvas. As you can see, I have my comb. When it comes to straight or wavy hair, you always want to comb down the hair so that way you get all the hairs that you need to cut. When it comes to straight, thick, wavy hair, it's always good to clear out your canvas so that way you can get a blurry fade. You don't want to create guidelines with a lot of weight on the sides and back. First guideline I'm gonna start on the back, using the end of the ears to guide me where I should create my first guideline. I have my Slimline Pros, making sure I create a nice straight line. When you're dealing with straight hair, you want to make sure all guidelines are neat, so that way it's easier for you to take out the guidelines. Cleaner guidelines, cleaner fades. I like to make sure the bottom of my tapers, the bald part, are very bald and nice and clean. That's where you're gonna get the pop in the taper. And for the side tapers, I created a guideline right above the ear. And I'm using my Bronze Series 9 to make sure that the bald part is nice and skin tight. I got my corded wall senior, about to make my first initial guideline. I'm pretty much making a guideline, I say about an inch. When you're making bigger guidelines, it helps stretch out the fade. Especially with straight hair, you want to be more precise when you're creating your guidelines. It's a lot more easier to mess up. And for the side tapers, I'm only using the edges of the blade to create the guideline. Helps me create the shape I want for the taper. And compared to coarse hair, I do take a little bit more time on straight hair just because it is a little bit more harder to erase the guidelines. And what's different about the fading technique I use on this cut is I use less guidelines and less guards. Right here, I'm making my second guideline with the 0 all the way open. And then I'm about to erase the guideline with the 0 closed and then use lever play with no guard. And just a reminder, if you didn't know, I always use the technique lever play to erase all the guidelines, going from all the way closed to slowly opening it to ensure the guideline is completely erased. Everybody has a way of cutting and doing their fades. I feel like when you're staying within the shape of the taper, it creates more of a pop and more blurriness. The last guideline I'm making is with the wall 1.5, and it's about an inch of a guideline. If you don't use wall, I think a closed number 2 on any clipper is pretty equal to the 1.5. And if that don't work out, man, you're gonna have to get yourself a wall clipper, boy. Best in the game. Once I'm done with the 1.5, I'm gonna slap on my 1 guard. At first, it's lever fully open, and then I'm gonna use lever plate to erase the guideline as best as possible. And for the shape up of the taper, I'm using the clipper over comb technique. I'm not the best at it, but you want to grab the hair at a certain angle. And I have my lever all the way open, attacking all the hair that I grab. The clipper over comb technique is best for blending a tight taper into long hair. For a more detailed tutorial on clipper over comb, my boy George Cepeda and It's Danny on Instagram and YouTube are goats at that, man. So go ahead and check them out for me. Now it's time for the lineup, and I'm gonna start behind the ear, and I'm gonna use the edges of the trimmer to create the shape. Once I get the shape I want behind the ear, now I'm just connecting that line with the bottom line. With the front line, I'm combing down all the bangs as best as possible. His hair isn't completely flat just because it's still getting used to staying flat, but I'm combing it down as best as possible. Then I'm gonna spray some hairspray to hold down all the hairs. For the front line, I'm gonna start in the middle, and I'm gonna just be combing down the hairs numerous times to ensure I attack all the hairs that need to be cut. I'm gonna work my way to the right, and with my trimmers, I'm just tapping on the edges using more weight on the right side of the blade to create the box and the sharp edge. Then I got my Slimline Pros to attack all the little hairs that my Andes GTX couldn't cut. My Slimline Pros hit pretty hard, so they're the best clipper I can use to attack all the little hairs. And just like my previous tutorials, when I'm creating the C-cup / hook, I'm using the edges of the blade to create the shape. I start at the edge of the box and work my way to the taper. And regardless of enhancement or not, I like to take my time on the line and the hooks, so that way it's sharp with or without enhancements. His hairline did not require enhancements, but it was requested, and I like to make sure I give my clients what they want and make sure they get the most out of their money they're paying for. I only enhance the edges of the boxes and the line around the ear. Then I have my Andy shaver to shave any stubbles for a finished look. This cut came out very clean, very blurry. Finishing off the cut with the razor. Got my Really Bow razor holder with derby blades, and I'm just stretching out the skin and finishing off the line. This is probably one of the best cuts I've ever done, and I'm glad I got it on video. And I'm very big on detailing, so I'm going the extra mile and also razoring the taper line. But yeah, this cut came out clean, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, man, it's pretty much the final cut. Very clean. Mid-ball taper, sides and back. Chop transformation. Just finishing off with some oil sheen. But yeah, y'all, this is the big chop transformation on wavy / straight hair. Got my guy off-brand Ohgeesy. Got him right. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
I could really change your life, baby. Hella rich and I'm hella wavy. I'ma put it in a new Mercedes. I could really change your life, baby.
And if my client in the video sees this, I'm just messing around, bro. You clean though, my boy.
So fuck all you bitch ass niggas saying all that stupid shit, man.
And it ain't no cap, like.